I don't know where to put them, so they're not in frame. Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm actually going to be giving you guys some summer recs and show you guys my big summer TBR, because I have really high expectations for this summer, especially for the books that I'm going to be reading. I really want to read a lot this summer, like in the beach, in the pool, anywhere. I just want to be outside and read no matter what time it is, especially now because of daylight savings. It gets darker very late, so whenever I come home from work or come home from anywhere, there's still enough light, and it's just like a good vibe to just be able to read all day long. We're gonna be going to a little town in Wisconsin where we actually went there last year. It reminded me a lot of like books that take place in lakes and like small towns, and I just want to be able to go over there and read because we are going to be staying there a couple nights, and I am just really excited for that. We also have like a not too fancy beach here in Texas, but you know, it's still a beach, so I do want to go there maybe a couple times this summer, and because it's only like 4-hour drive from here, so just grab some books and then head over there and just like hear some ocean sounds, because that's what I'm really craving and what I want. I have a really long TBR, especially for the summer, and I'm really excited because I do think that I'm going to be reading a lot of really good gems. But we're actually going to start with my recs. Now, I don't have that big of recs for summer because summer is very like rom-com, very like revolved around romance, and personally I read a lot of like thrillers and dark romances, so I'm hoping to expand my genre, especially when it comes to rom-coms and just good hearty romance this summer, so I can give you guys a better recommendation next year, because I just have a lot of like really like dark or fantasy books that aren't really fit for the summer. But yeah, so I'm going to start with my recs, and let me know what you guys think about these. If you guys have read them, or if you haven't, let me know if you're going to be picking them up, because I just personally love the books that I'm recommending you guys, and I obviously wouldn't be doing it if I didn't love the books. We're actually going to start first with one of my favorites, which is Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This is a small town romance, and it is Grumpy meets Sunshine, and Knox and Naomi I just love. So Naomi's actually a runaway bride, and she goes to a small town where her sister lives because she got a call from her, and she goes over there, and her sister basically like ditches her and tells her that she has a niece that she never actually met or never even knew. So she's basically just taking her under her wing and just learning how to be a parent, even though she's never even met this little girl. Knox is just like the perfect boyfriend, and they are fake dating, and I've never really read a fake dating that I truly loved until this one. I love this book so much. There's so many different tropes and so many characters that you end up loving, and it's just a really good book. I 100% 10 out of 10 recommend this book for this summer, especially because obviously it's really cute. It has some little sunflowers, right? They're sunflowers, and it's just a perfect feel-good book, especially just with everything that happens. Such a good book. 10 out of 10 recommend. Next book that I'm going to be recommending is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Now this one I actually gave a 2-star, but it was only because I didn't like the ending. That's it. I loved everything about it until the ending, until you realize, or it tells you like the big plot. I personally did not enjoy, and I just felt kind of like a cop-out to me, and I'm just not really a big fan of that kind of situation. Highly recommend this book. It's just my personal taste. I just didn't really enjoy and didn't like that ending. This is basically about Macy and Elliot. She actually ends up, her and her dad buy a house, like a vacation home, and that's where Elliot lives. He lives across the street, I believe, or like next to them, and they just spend a lot of time together. They bond over books, and they just basically grow up together, and then all of a sudden something happens, and then they don't speak to each other for I believe 12 years. You basically go from like their past to present. Maybe you're not like a harsh critic in like that sense, but I am, and if you guys know what it is, you guys know, and if not, then you guys can personally DM me and ask me like, what are you talking about, you crazy person? But yeah, it's just, I wasn't a really big fan of like everything that happened. But 100% recommend this though. Next book is going to be Twisted Games by Anna Juan. I recommend the entire series, but I personally love this book from the entire series, and they are standalone, so you don't have to read the entire series, but I do recommend doing it though, just because it gives you a little bit of spoilers. People say that you don't have to, but if you're gonna read the other books in the future, I would just recommend reading them from the beginning, because they give you a little bit of spoilers of like how they end up together, like the previous couples, and some aspect of what happened in that book. But I do 100% recommend this. They go to Costa Rica, and if you guys have read this book, you know what happens in Costa Rica will not stay there, because I will talk about that place and like what they did there forever, because it's just so good. It's basically about Bridget and Rise, and he is actually her bodyguard, and she is a queen, or to be queen. And yeah, it's just, I love this trope too. I never read like this trope before, and I cannot tell you guys how much I love bodyguards and like the forbidden love. I love that trope so much now. I search for that trope because for whatever reason, like I love that trope so much, like them not being together, them not being able to be together, and then at the end they do, and like they try to find a loophole or try to find a way for them to end up together, because their love is just so good. And I just love this book so much. They are my favorite couple hands down from the entire series, and this is just a really good book for the summer, because like I said, they go to Costa Rica, they go to different places, and it's just a really good book. Next book is actually going to be Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think that this book is a really good palate cleanser, especially if like you're in between like rom-coms, because sometimes rom-coms can be a little too much or too repetitive. So I think that this is just a really good throw in there and like read in between books. It is written in an interview style though, so if you're not really a big fan of that, then maybe not pick this book up. But whenever you start reading it, you're just gonna get used to it, and you're actually gonna end up loving it. It didn't take me long to actually just get used to the writing style, and I blew through this. I read this in like a day. I'm actually not a big Taylor Jenkins Reid fan, but this one is really good. Now, unpopular opinion, I did not like the actual TV show. Couldn't finish it. I think I just watched one episode and could not get through it, just because they did not do these characters justice. This is basically about Daisy Jones and the Six, and how Daisy just goes through life and living in Hollywood and going through so much, and just being an artist in Hollywood in this time frame. And then also the Six is a couple friends, two brothers, and like a couple like high school friends, I believe, and their rise to stardom too, and just how they all deal with their own problems. And it's just so good. Cannot recommend this enough. It's such a good palate cleanser. Now, it's not really summer until you read an Emily Henry book. Now, I love this book so much. I actually just finished this because I'm in the middle of filming another book blog, and that's actually going to be coming out next week, so stick around if you guys want to see that. But I cannot recommend this book enough. It's so good. I'm not really a big rom-com person, and this is pretty cheesy, but not in a bad way. January and Gus, just their banter, them like going back and forth with each other is so good. I had a lot of moments where I actually giggled or just smiled because of how they were talking to each other. The thing that I actually loved about this book is that it's actually really relatable, just because of them handling adulthood and them going through different things and being in different phases of life, and it just makes you really realize that you're not alone. This book is basically about January and Augustus. They're both writers. They basically trade genres, because he's basically more of like a fiction writer and she's more of like a romance writer, and they like switch and make a deal, and you go through them writing their books and then them going to do the things that they do to like write their own books. It's so good. I love this book. Now I understand why people reread this, especially during the summer, because it just makes you feel so good. 10 out of 10 recommend this book too. I love them. I love January. January will be one of my top female characters because she's just so funny and just amazing. I love her. Next book, I'm actually going to be throwing a thriller, just because let's just normalize reading thrillers during the summer. Like, you don't have to read all romance. Like, let's just read some fantasy. Let's read some thrillers, because they are good too. The Perfect Marriage, I will be recommending this book no matter what, because it's so good, especially to me. I love this book a lot. This is basically about Sarah and Adam. He basically has a mistress and she ends up dead in their vacation home, and so Sarah, she's a lawyer and she ends up defending him because he's accused of killing his mistress. And it just takes you through the biggest plot twist, so many different spins and the revelations of what happened at the end. You just go through it, and it feels like while you're reading what's going on at the end, especially when everything is revealed, it feels like you are in the book, and it just feels like a movie to me. I don't know why. Maybe you guys don't, because I do know that this book is kind of like in between for people. Like they either hate it or they love it, and I'm obviously in the love section, and it's just so good. It's really good palate cleanser too, and I don't know, like just normalize reading thrillers. And if you guys do want to read a thriller this summer, 100% recommend this. Cannot recommend this enough. I love this book so much. It's one of my favorite thrillers for sure. Now those are all my book recs. Now I know that they're pretty small, and it's mostly because I just read a lot of dark romance and fantasy. I'm really hoping that next summer that I can just expand my romance and just summer recs, because like I said, I read a lot of like dark romance. But yeah, let's actually hop into my summer TBR because it is pretty big. First one is actually going to be Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. Now this one is another book that I'm currently also reading for a video that's coming out next week, and it's basically like a Gossip Girl-esque book, and that's basically all it is. It's just there's like no real plot in it other than they're just toxic couples and really rich. So I don't know how I'm going to enjoy this. Next one is actually going to be a series. Now I know that fantasy is not really a summer book. It doesn't really say much in the back. The reason why I actually picked up the Caravel series is because I wanted to read Once Upon a Broken Heart. People were kind of in between if you should be reading the Caravel series before this, and I'm like, you know what, if there's any chance that there's going to be something, even if it's something small, spoiled to me in this book from the series, I'm just not going to take any chances. So I'm going to be starting the Caravel series, so that way I can read Once Upon a Broken Heart, and this is mainly the book that I want to read. But to be able to read this one, I want to start the Caravel series. So if you guys have actually read this book, let me know how it goes, just because like I said, it doesn't really say much in the back, so I don't really know much about it other than like it's just people in like a Hunger Games type of game, all pink books. For whatever reason, they make me want to read them in the summer, like really bright books, and this is for sure a really bright book. So let me know what you guys think about the Caravel series, because I really want to read this one. I just don't want anything spoiled, even if it's something small. I want to be able to go into this book not having any questions about who these characters are, or like minor characters, and I know that they come to this book from here. Like some characters from this series come into this book, so I don't want to have any questions, so I want to start this one first. The next book is actually popping off a lot on Book Talk, and I need to read it. A lot of people are actually starting to read it, and it's actually When in Rome by Sarah Adams. Now I actually didn't know that she wrote the cheat sheet, which I want to read too, but the main reason why I wanted to read this one was because I want to read this one so bad. I love this cover. I don't know why. I love this cover, and I love how I think he's the bodyguard and she's actually his sister, I believe, and for whatever reason I love bodyguards. So this is basically about Amelia. She's actually a pop star, and she just wants to get away from like the LA lifestyle, so she search up closest Rome because of the movie When in Rome, and she just wants to just get out of LA. And so she actually goes there in Kentucky. She breaks down in front of someone's bakery, and that someone is this guy's bakery. So while her car is being worked on, they're just like spending time together, and she's just getting out of the city and just, you know, being in the moment. So it's really cute. I cannot wait to read this. It's actually a pretty small book, and this is just going to be a really quick, cute little romance, so I'm really excited for this one. I'm pretty sure they correlate to each other because, you know, these two are siblings, and this is her bodyguard because she's obviously a pop star. This cover is so cute. I cannot wait to read both of these. This is actually going to be the first time that I read a Sarah Adams book, so I'm actually very excited. Let me know if you guys have read both of these because I'm really excited. Next one is actually going to be another Lucy Score book. Now this one is by Thread. I need to get to this now because people are raving about this. It's so cute. It's like a workplace romance with the boss and like the co-worker, and it's set in New York, and I just love anything Lucy Score, and I'm just gonna devour this. I cannot wait to read this one. For me, it kind of gives off like The Devil Wears Prada, So I'm really excited for this one. Next one is going to be a Christina Lauren book, the On Honeymooners. I've also seen a lot from this. It's basically these two people who go to a wedding and everyone actually gets food poisoning except them two. The bride and groom can't go to their honeymoon and they offer a trip to both of them. So they basically go to the honeymoon in Hawaii and they fake date, and the cover is so cute, and I'm just guessing that they're gonna have really cute banter for whatever reason, and I also really love fake dating, so I'm really excited to read this one also. Next one is actually going to be Flawless by Alice Silver. Now this is actually the first book in the Chestnut series, I believe, and I don't know much about it other than there's cowboys and the cover is really cute, and pink anything gives off summer vibes. So this is basically about Bull Rider. He kind of like makes a mistake and his agent actually sends Summer, the girl that he's gonna fall in love with, to help him, and they're just kind of like going at it with each other, I believe. I don't really know much about this. It's just a lot of people have been recommending this series and I am very excited for this one also. I know I keep saying that I'm really excited. It's just all these books just sound so interesting to me, and I'm so excited for the summer because obviously summer gives off romance, and these are all so cute, and I'm pretty sure that none of them are going to be repetitive, and like that's the one thing that I am not really a big fan of, is repetitive same old tropes, and all of these have different tropes and I'm really excited to read all of them. Next book is actually going to be Emily Henry's new book, Happy Place. Obviously this gives off summer, lake house, everything of it just gives off summer. Emily Henry in general gives off summer, so obviously you have to read another Emily Henry, and I'm really excited for this one. This is actually about two people who divorced, but their friends actually don't know that they're divorced, and so they go on their friend trip pretending that they're still together, and you're just going through all of that. We'll see how this one goes because Emily Henry cannot do any wrong, especially when it comes to the summer and especially when it comes to friends. Very excited. Let me know if you guys have read this one because I've seen this a lot too. Another book is actually going to be a fantasy, which is the third book in the Akatar series. Now this girl, she is thick, but like I said, pink gives off summer. The last book that we're going to be reading this summer is Things We Hide from the Light. Now this is the second book in the Knockmount series by Lucy Score. I read the first one, loved it, and this is the second one. This one follows Knox's brother. Something happens in the last book and you're kind of dealing with the aftermath and what happened to him in that accident. I cannot wait. I love Nash. Nash is just a cute little golden retriever, but I know that in this book he actually turns a little grumpy because of what happens, and I just cannot wait. I love Lucy Score. I'm so happy that I'm reading two of her books and they're both pink, and if you have read this one, let me know also how you feel about this one because I cannot wait to read about Nash because Nash is so cute. I loved him in the first one and I cannot wait to see him here again, and especially seeing a little bit of Naomi and Knox because they're so cute. So those are all the books that I'm going to be reading this summer. They are pretty hefty, and obviously I'm going to be growing my collection of other books that are obviously going to be coming out this summer, or books that are going to be popping up in my For You page. And yeah, I'm just really excited for the summer and just expanding my rom-com and like romance genre because like I said, I read a lot of thrillers, fantasies, and dark romance. And if you guys have any recommendations of other books that are also for like the summer, let me know in the comments below because I am ready to absorb all of it. I am so ready for the summer and just read by the pool, read by the lake, read by the beach, read by anywhere because I'm just gonna be holding a book everywhere I go. I'm gonna be bringing my tote, bringing my headphones, and bringing a really good book for the summer. Let me know which books are gonna be on your TBR because let's just all get together and just read the best books for the summer because the summer just feels like a really good summer to read, and I'm really excited. So I hope you guys stick around and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.